We're live, but
We're
we're
live.
just recording.
Boy Radio live. All right.
Yeah.
Good. Well, this is episode number 4. We have on a very special guest, Doug, who we actually went to school with. So, welcome, Doug, to the podcast.
Thank
We're
you.
pleasure to have you.
Good to be here.
But I guess we'll just start it off. We'll just keep it cash. If you want to tell a little bit, our listeners a little bit more about you, who you
Mhm.
are. Who's Doug Smart. Yeah, let's start there.
Yeah, so I guess in the business sense of things, I'm a realtor. And basically, how I got into it was kind of dates back all the way back to, I'd say, like high school. I was like big into architecture. I did that. I thought I was going to get into architecture originally. And then things kind of changed. I've always wanted to be my own boss. So I kind of just scrapped the architecture thing and then got into business. And yeah, I just wasn't really like learning a lot, I guess, during college for business specifically because it just like wasn't as like engaging, I guess, as I had hoped. So I scrapped that too. Then got into design because I've always been a little bit of a creative and ended up scratching that as well after trying to start my own clothing line. That didn't work out. So all in all, or sorry, then I got into what was it? Construction. I did that for like 3 years. But that was just like being a workhorse, and even the higher up guys, I've learned that their like work hours were absolutely insane. Like they're just working all the time. They got to drive to a job site that's like 2 hours away or something. So it's like, yeah, it was a lot. So I didn't want to do that. So I left. And I found real estate, which my mom actually was starting to get into at the same time. So things kind of just fell into place pretty perfectly. And I can kind of pick and pull from all my interests in here or in real estate. Because with my architecture background, my construction background, and my business background, I can kind of just put it all together, do my own thing, be my own boss, and yeah, just have fun with it, which is what I'm doing now.
Very nice. And you're down in California, Bay Area?
Yeah, I'm in San Jose.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the San Jose real estate market.
Well, mortgage rates are around like 5.7%, which is high, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that high. It's been a lot higher before. It's been like 7 plus before. Um, and it did get really low in like 2020, which, when the housing market was just going bonkers. But that was like, it got down to like 3 point something. I don't really remember. I wasn't a realtor at the time. So,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, 5.7 is like really not that bad. And currently, I think the average housing market, or sorry, the average housing price is like I wrote it down. Yeah, 1.3 million, which is up on the year and down since I think it was 2022. But yeah, meeting at 1.3 mil is kind of average right now. It was kind of on all the graphs that I looked at, it's kind of in the mid range, not insanely high, not super low. So everything's pretty moderate right now, I feel like.
Yeah, I actually had a question about that. That's super interesting. That's also ridiculously expensive. 1.2 mil is a lot of money. Uh,
Yeah.
but do you remember your first sale or like of a house?
I haven't had one yet.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Generally speaking, for realtors, it takes roughly like 6 months for someone to get their first sale. So there's a lot, just a ton of back end work before even getting that. But usually, once you start getting them, you're just on a roll. You just keep going. But yeah, not quite there yet. I've just been focusing on growing my CRM and obviously trying to get clients. But it's a slow start. I think the statistic on agents ending up quitting is it's like 87% of agents end up just not doing it after
Yeah.
1 year. After 1 year.
Yeah, it comes in cycles too. Like, like you said, the real estate market was super hot, so people flooded the market. Real
Hmm.
estate agents, of buyers, of course. It was just going bonkers, like you said. So a bunch of
Yeah.
people enter as realtors, and then the market cooled off a lot. So
Hmm.
you're having to fight for every listing and really put the work in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very cyclical career path.
Most definitely.
It goes with the market as well, but.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I'm
well,
sure
tell
if
us
I
more about
join,
your channel. Oh, go for it. Yeah, well, sorry.
I'm sure if I joined back in like 2020 or whatever, I would definitely have a sale within the first
Yeah,
within the first 2 months, because everything was
yeah,
just going off the shelves so quickly.
yeah,
But yeah, my channel, YouTube to start, or YouTube is how I started everything. I was kind of just doing more informational videos, not so much shorts, mostly just like long form. Definitely learned a lot doing that. When I started, I was, to say the least, rusty at making content. Um, and I eventually got kind of bored with it. I wanted to do like other things. So because I was just sitting in my chair like all day, every day, just like recording stuff.
yeah.
So I decided to switch it up probably a month ago now, I want to say. Maybe a little less. But now I'm focusing on my Instagram, um, doing house tours. And recently, I think about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks, I started trying to get a little creative with it and making like these little intros before I actually go into the house, but having them be short enough to, just grab someone's attention and then show the house rather than like half and half or anything. I try to keep it like under like an 8-second intro or something. Sometimes it's a little tough to do. Like the other
Yeah.
day, I think I spent like, I want to say like 8 hours editing one video, which was a lot for such a short video. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very much focused on quality over quantity now, whereas before I was doing quantity over quality. But yeah.
Cool. Have you noticed since you've made that little transition? You said it's been what, like a week or a month. But have you noticed an uptick maybe in the views per video, or have you
Oh,
noticed anything?
yeah, most definitely. Like, I'd say the biggest thing that I've changed is trying to make shareable content. And my more recent videos, I think the first one got a lot of attention. I think I got by far the most views, over 1,500. Before that, I was only averaging like 400 or like 500. And it got a bunch of shares too. It had 29, whereas usually I only got maybe one. But yeah, since then it's gone a little downhill, can't lie. But yeah, that was the first of its kind on my Instagram, so I kind of expected to fall off a little bit, and hopefully it'll go back up again. But overall, it's been an uptick, I would say, for sure.
Nice. Yeah, consistency is key here for sure.
Hmm.
And definitely quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Engaging content really is the bread and butter, and editing actually pays off really well. It's kind of like putting, right? If you can edit really well, you're gonna make some good videos.
Yeah. I'm hoping one of them will pop off so I can grow a bit faster. But yeah, slow start. It's okay. I'm definitely hitting one of those points where it's like a little discouraging just because I've been putting so much effort into it for kind of a while and just haven't gotten as much as I had hoped out of it. But, comes with the territory. So
Yeah,
I'll get
yeah,
there.
it's a slow start for sure.
Yeah.
But hey, if you look at any of the most popular YouTubers, like that's exactly how it went. Like it was very
Hmm.
slow, and then it started gaining credibility and gaining viewership, and then it kind of just snowballed. So keep
Yeah.
at it. We're in the same boat. We're gonna keep at it. And like you said, you were rusty at making content, and that rust will eventually fall off and
Hmm.
make some better engaging content for sure.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say something. But I was gonna say, yeah, sort of what drew our inspiration to sort of just get started. I won't ask you
Mhm.
in a second what got you started, but basically it was I forget what it was. I think I was driving somewhere in the car and I was listening to a podcast. I was listening to Lex Friedman talk to what's his name, Mr. Beast,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
extremely intelligent guy, really
yeah.
like savvy, really nitpicky, like a perfectionist in a really good way. And the advice that he said, he was like, anyone that wants to get started, he was like, I wouldn't have any advice other than make your first 100 videos and then go back and then, then make some tweaks, but you got to make the first 100, then go back. Um, so that's what sort of inspired us to like, you know what, called up Brendan. I was like, dude, we got to get this SHIT started. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Dove in head first, brought in the team. We're like, hey, let's start making some content. We're not an experts in any mean, but it's something that you learn along the way, and that's sort of what we've been learning. But what about you? What sort of inspired you to start making YouTube content? Because you said you've always been creative, and it didn't turn out the way you wanted to, but you still wanted to incorporate it with being in real estate. So yeah, what sort of drove you to be like, you know what, I'm gonna start this YouTube channel, I'm gonna start this Instagram page, and I'm just gonna let shit fly.
Yeah, so I guess, like the regular or the old style way of like getting listings and all was just building your sphere, people blah blah blah, flyers, all the classic older things. But with, Instagram, YouTube and all that, like the ceiling is like there is no ceiling. It's unlimited, So you can hit this sort of point where you just kind of skyrocket way past where you could if you were just doing the old fashioned way. You know, I would say, in the beginning, obviously it's way harder than door knocking, making phone calls and all that, which I'm still doing. I'm not door knocking right now, but I'm going to start going after for sale by owners. That's a separate thing. But yeah, with the whole content creation stuff, the main reasoning was there's no limit. You know, definitely really hard to get into, but put in the time, the effort, and the consistency, as we've been talking about, anyone can really get there. You just gotta keep on trying.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
It's a grind out there, definitely.
yeah.
I was actually just at a real estate investor meetup earlier this week, and one of the people I was talking to, they did wholesaling for a
Hmm.
couple of years, like 2018, 2019, and they did a lot of door knocking. They did a lot of direct mail, through the post office, and cold calling. Well, not cold calling mixed with robocall center type of things and SMS text. They said, back when it wasn't regulated all that much, although I thought just a couple years ago it was still pretty regulated. But anyways, he did a lot of mass texting to get
Hmm.
deals, and he got a lot of deals. He said they did about 400,000 in like profit in a year. Well, not profit, revenue in a year,
Hmm.
but there was a lot of marketing costs. So those direct mails cost a lot of money, a lot of other just selling costs really.
Yeah.
But he was talking about it, and it's like one of the biggest things was once you got them on the hook, you got to sell them, right? He's like, it was kind of taxing. One, it takes a ton of energy to sell someone, but he said it almost felt wrong sometimes lowballing them. He's like, we had to give them all all the all the information and all the different things they had to choose from, because going with a wholesaler or someone who's a cash buyer, they're usually going to get less. But some people were in a pinch, or just they want it out quick, so they didn't want
Hmm.
anyone inspecting and whatnot. Um, Kind of a total tangent, but yeah, your your door knocking sparked that comment.
I was just gonna ask. So you're in residential, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're focusing. Okay. What made you
That's.
want? What made you
Hmm?
want to do that? Like, what made you want to do residential other than over commercial? Was it just familiarity with Or yeah, we'll just start with that. Like, what made you want to do residential over commercial?
Uh, I haven't really thought of that before, but I would say, because I didn't even really think of doing commercial. One, I would say, um, like you said, not a very familiar space for me, so it just didn't even really come to mind. It's definitely like there's big money in commercial, but there's also, I would say, select few people or agents that actually like are able to get those type of listings because there's not nearly as much of them as residential properties. But on top of that, I would say in construction, I would always work on residential properties and a lot of nice houses. And there's just generally a lot more, I don't want to say a lot more style for them because there's a lot of pretty cool um, commercial buildings as well. But every house kind of has its own style, its own moods, its own vibe, I guess. But yeah, it's just like a lot more interesting of a space to be in, I would say.
Definitely.
I don't have a question, but I have a kind of add on. There's like residential and commercial. You talked earlier about building your I'll call it a Rolodex, right? Building your network. And I've heard anecdotally in commercial real estate that's even more important. Like it's way more about who you know than anything else. Because like you said, like the number is much less than residential, but the people going after those commercial spaces are maybe usually repeat customers. So if you know the right people, you might get a lot. But if you are not in the know, it's much tougher to break in. But it's a lot of getting your name out there, building your network at the front half, like with any real estate agent game. But
oh yeah, definitely.
Even more so in commercial.
Yeah, I feel like the whole social media thing wouldn't really work too well in that realm of real estate with commercial. I mean, obviously not speaking from experience there, but
yeah,
I would imagine so.
Maybe if you did your show on like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I do remember my question now. Because sort of what we're doing, we want people to participate in real estate or give opportunities to new real estate agents. How can you sort of walk us through the process of like how you became a licensed real estate agent and like how long it took, what needed to go, what you needed to, to do to obtain that license?
Yeah. So I believe things have actually changed a little bit since I got my license because I remember I was kind of trying to get it a little faster so I wouldn't have to do it because it's apparently a little harder now, or it will be very soon. I think it was at the start of 2023 that there were supposed to be some changes. But when I got it, I took this online course. I think it was like $100, no biggie. I did it while I was in college. Took kind of a while. It's a really long course. I think it took me like at least like 3 months. But I was also juggling college at the same time, so it wasn't like I was just doing that. I could probably bang it out in like less than a month if I didn't have college, maybe even like 2 weeks. But after that, you had to take oh man, now I'm blanking on the name of the test, but the main test was like honestly not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I don't think they even tell you a percentage when you're done. It's kind of like a pass or fail type of thing. I might be wrong though. It's just been a while. But the whole process, all in all, probably took me like half a year, I want to say. But that could definitely be whittled down to like 2 months or something. Also, I believe if you don't pass, you have to wait like a certain amount of time to take it again. Once again, don't know the exact number, but I know it's like around a month at least or something. I passed first time, thank God. But yeah, it wasn't too hard when I entered. But all of that could be different now. I haven't looked back into that because, I got it done before everything possibly has changed. I had to look that stuff up. Not off top of mind right now.
So I think it's a good segue. So I'm not sure how much you've looked at what we're trying to do, decentralized real estate. But basically, we're making a crowdsourced and crowdfunded real estate group where
Okay.
all of our members find and propose deals to the group, and then if everyone likes it, they approve it, and then fundraise for it, and then close on a house. There's a lot of things that go into that, and it's definitely right now you said it was a seller's market, but when the market's hot, you can't really find a house and then fundraise for it and then close on it because it'll be gone already, right? So you gotta fundraise first and then find the deal once you have funds and whatnot. But really, fractionalizing real estate so that anyone can join, and then allowing people to complete tasks to find deals, close houses, and then manage them to earn rewards.
Okay.
So, I'd love to talk to you about the crowdsourcing aspect. Being a real estate agent, you have a lot of the knowledge and you could do a lot of the tasks that are required to, actually acquire these properties. So, I'm going to walk through some of the process of buying a house, and then I'd like you to estimate how much you might want to get paid to do something like that.
Okay.
So how much would you want to get paid for finding a good deal?
Like just finding a good deal?
Yeah. Just finding a good deal. And then on top of that would be researching comps in the area, writing up a comp document. Kind of those two pieces. What's a good wage?
Well, I'll start here. Generally speaking, realtors are only paid on commission base, and it's like around like 2.5 to 3. So just doing that portion, like not even the paperwork and stuff, just the not the basically finding.
Finding some good deals. Maybe someone came to you with an off-market deal, and you're like, oh, this is a great deal that this real estate group might be interested in. How much would you want to get paid to bring that deal to the table?
Oh man, it'd be pretty low, honestly. Like, it's pretty easy to do as a realtor. So maybe even like, man, to make it worthwhile, I would say like lower than 500. Definitely not over that, because that's just like not, it's not that hard to do. I'd say closer to like 200 to make it worthwhile.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty simple stuff.
Range, I was thinking, and we would probably have a bidding system too that allows some sort of bidding to make that kind of dynamic. But what about researching comps for that deal?
Comps, man, that could be even like maybe like 100, honestly, or less. Like that portion is super easy. Yeah,
gotcha.
Oh no, I could, as low as like 200 for both of them combined. Like, not
too shabby. Let's see, writing an offer for that house.
Like just writing an offer, no disclosures, and if you have to go over all the paperwork and stuff, there's kind of a lot that goes into that.
Okay, let's say all the paperwork as a package.
Okay. Maybe like around 300 to 500, give or take. Less than 500. Like it's not. It's a lot. It's a good amount of work, but it's not like insane.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What about facilitating the closure? Facilitating an inspection, an appraisal. What about that kind of work? And make it, it wouldn't be like the cost for the appraisal, someone else, a third party appraisal, and the cost for the inspection would be covered. So this is just like you facilitating it.
Okay. So that maybe like if we're talking like separately from everything,
Uh-huh.
each separate categories,
Yeah.
this I'd probably put it at like man, this one's a little difficult. Maybe I'll say like 200 again just to keep it at like worthwhile. Like all in all, like for everything, um it would be like I don't know, feel like upwards of less than 700 I'd say for like all of it.
Okay.
Um yeah, it's just kind of, separately kind of gotta go a little higher just since,
Yeah.
just to make it worthwhile. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say these are all not, I don't want to say made up numbers,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. They're from nowhere, right? They're kind of just a quick
yeah,
estimate. You don't really
yeah,
know. I think you might
yeah,
be lowballing yourself, to be honest. I had
yeah,
higher numbers in my mind, but
yeah.
I'm trying to
I
paint the
think,
picture that someone who has the knowledge could get paid
mhm,
hundreds to thousands of dollars to bring deals and close deals, and help the group acquire good real
mhm.
estate. Um, so yeah. What about some management? How much would you want to charge to find a tenant? Find a good
Ooh,
tenant.
that's a much different realm there.
Yeah, no.
Uh, I almost got into um, property management. Decided not to do that because um, not so much money in it and a lot of hours. Um,
Depends on how
but
you do it for sure.
yeah, but for like one place or
Yeah.
like a condo complex, one place.
Yeah, condo complex is a lot. No, no. For one
Yeah.
place. Like I'd say at the moment we're kind of focused on, single family to maybe like fourplexes. But
Hmm.
I mean, I would definitely be down for an apartment complex. That'd be cool. Uh, but no,
Yeah,
think of
most
just,
definitely.
a standard single family house.
Maybe like I've been trying to lowball a little bit on all of these just so I don't say too
Yeah.
high of numbers.
No,
Um,
no.
but will this be like yearly or do you mean like find a tenant like one time?
Yeah, I'd say it's like a one-time find a good tenant, and then there'd be like a percentage monthly rent to just stay on top of it, right?
Okay. Oh man, this one's difficult. So you want like monthly costs or like
So, what's the upfront to get someone in there, and then what's the monthly?
okay, upfront just to get there, maybe like 500 and monthly like I'd say a percentage of the rent. So maybe like well general commission is 2.5%. But that's split between the listing agent and the buyer's agent. So maybe like 5% of the rent. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
On
standard.
yeah.
5%. I think it can go up to 10. It might depend on what they're doing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a little background, actually, I one of my side hustles is an Airbnb property management company. So I
Okay.
have three doors that I manage, and I've made that into one, two, three, four listings. So I have like a 2-bed, 2-bath condo, a 3-bed, 2-bath duplex, and then that other side of the duplex is also a 3-bed, 2-bath, and I have 2 rooms, available for rent themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and then the primary bedroom is rented out by a long-term tenant. And
Nice,
I
nice.
actually just put the spare bedroom in my house up on Airbnb too. So yeah, it can be a lot of hours when you're turning a lot. But I try to rent to, travel nurses and people that are in there for months at a time. So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty low maintenance at that point. Just having to, go clean somewhere once every 3 months is not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd imagine so.
Yeah. It's a pretty fun little, gig too. Just sit on Airbnb waiting for booking requests to come in. I'm like, ooh. So yeah, it's a funny little business, I guess.
Nice. Yeah, that I've definitely thought about getting into that as well, but I need to make a little bit of capital before I can do that.
Yeah, definitely. there's a lot of furnishing a place is not cheap. Like
Yeah.
that's for sure. And it's actually that's the most time consuming part. Getting, I've gotten all my furniture secondhand. So it's been running around town, getting, every single piece of furniture that's needed, and then huge Walmart runs, getting a bunch of, consumables and, linens and stuff like that. But no, I mean, it's been pretty rewarding, and it's definitely a really good way to get started in real estate. But if you're doing rental arbitrage like I'm doing, it's not easy to find people who are willing to let you do that. It took me like a year from when I first started looking for someone to let me do that. That's when I actually got my first place. So for anyone who's trying to do rental arbitrage Airbnb, stick with it. It'll pay out at the end. It's definitely a grind to get started, but once it's up and running, it's all groovy. Yeah,
For sure.
Pretty cool. I didn't know you had 4 doors, because I remember when you first told me about you first getting your first one, and then you were like, "Let's go," and I'm like, "Oh, that's lit."
Yeah.
Now you're at 4. That's wild.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So the first one was actually already furnished. The guy, he already furnished it. He was kind of doing it like short term. He just didn't want to deal with renting out. Like he has a bunch of different rental properties, and it was just too much for him to manage. And so he kind of pawned it off on me. Rented out for like $1,700 a month. Put it on Airbnb for like 23, and that's after their fees and everything. So that's a pretty decent return. And it was like, for that one, it was like, you got to pay the deposit. So, if you want to do some numbers, it's like, deposit $1,500. And then if you're making $500 a month, like that's a pretty good cash on cash return. Like I was pretty stoked on that one. But yeah, it's just slowly grown to, I've actually had the opportunity to do some more. I just haven't really wanted to, putting furniture in is expensive. It's time consuming, but I kind of wish I had at this point. If I could have another 2, I'd be sitting pretty, but it does become, a good amount to juggle, especially if you're, trying to go on vacation or, move or anything, then you got to figure out what to do. So,
yeah. Do you manage all of it yourself?
Yeah.
Fully
owner operated. That's what I'm looking for.
I see.
Have you thought about hiring like an assistant to help with that?
I have a little bit. So the long-term tenant in one of them manages. He turns the rooms that are the private rooms in his house and like mows the lawn and some other stuff, and I pay him for it, right? So I do have some assistants. I guess I shouldn't say it's 100% owner operated. It's maybe 70% now that he does that work, but it's an interesting situation.
I bet it's grown pretty fast, which is insane. But I did want to touch a little bit on Doug, and I know you're fairly new, but you're learning. You're probably more well versed and more well informed than I am. So I'm always curious. So you said 1.2 million at the beginning of the conversation is sort of what I think medium.
Yeah. It's like 1.3, but yeah.
1.3. What have you noticed, like just in general terms, about the San Jose market in particular, that maybe we may not know? And I know Brandon may know because he's born and raised there, so it's different. but like what have you noticed?
Man, well, I can say not a lot has changed in the past 2-3 months. But man, what can I say that I haven't already? Drawing a blank on this one, gotta be honest here. I just haven't been in the space, long enough for many like big change, or I guess substantial enough changes to happen. I'm sure it's changed a bit, as it always does, but nothing has really changed in the past 3+ months. Yeah.
Let's pivot on that then. Or unless you want to talk about it more, Brendan.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm not sure how much you know on the subject, but California has what they would call landlord unfriendly laws, right?
Mhm.
Things that are very tenant friendly. Um, do and because you haven't been in the industry very long, I'm not sure you'd know too much, but like, have you seen that impact the amount of people that are investing as investment properties and not primary residences? And maybe that percentage of people, our homes primarily owned by uh, primary resident dwellers or investors, and is there any difference
I
in
would
percentage?
Here, I would definitely say most, there's hardly any investment, I would say. Like, at least not in terms of like trying to rent out for like Airbnbs and such, I would say.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure there's a few out there, but it's San Jose. Like,
Yeah.
not a lot of people are trying to come here on vacation. Um,
You might be surprised. Maybe not like San Jose proper, but
yeah,
Bay Area.
true. Bay Area, yeah. But um, I think actually one of my clients, we ended up not doing anything because their budget was just too low for the area. But yeah, I'd say out of the past maybe like 20 or so leads I've had, one of them was for investment. So I guess that says something. Not a lot of people
Yeah.
looking to invest.
5%. I'm sure it's higher in other markets for sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
I was gonna ask. So your leads, are those leads that you're generating through YouTube and stuff like that, or are those leads that you're getting from? Do you mind telling me a little bit more about where those leads
Yeah,
come
yeah. Well, I'm using this app or software, I guess, called OpCity. They essentially gave you free leads, but you're kind of like on the clock. But when you get one or when you get a lead, it like sends you a notification on your phone, and you gotta click it fast enough to be able to get it before other realtors click it.
Uh,
Um, so basically, you have to click it before you can even look at like what the budget is or what they're looking for or where it is, or you're just gonna miss it. But if you do click it and get it, then you're kind of stuck with what you get, you know? Um, so it's honestly really annoying to use. Plus, they take I think it's like 35% of what you would have been making. Um, so it's like a pretty large cut, but
a super large cut.
yeah, since I'm still in the beginning, I'm just doing it anyway.
Does it
But
kind of replace like a typical brokerage? Like, because normally, real estate agents join a brokerage. Are you part of brokerage?
yeah, I'm with eXp Realty. It's
Okay.
online based and it's basically all over the world.
Yeah. And so this is something, do they do this or is it just
Oh,
you?
this is separate from
Okay.
my brokerage. So
Okay.
it's
Gotcha.
just an online lead
Yeah.
finder. It's their own thing. I'm sure OpCity makes a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
bet. They take 35% of your commission from making a sale.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. That's insane. That's a crazy business model.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a lot.
I wonder where they get the leads.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
honestly, I don't know either. But I do know that most of the people I like they're also not very well. Oh man, I don't want to say it's in a bad way, but I guess don't know the industry, I guess, too well. So like they don't know who to go find or who to go to find a realtor. So they
Yeah.
go to whatever. I don't know what they have. I think it might just be. It's not called Obsidian anymore, but go to the OpCity website and like put in your
Yeah.
information, and it'll find one for you. Versus knowing someone, finding someone in, I guess, online. I think,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. I feel like, a lot of people who are looking for houses, they'll, go on Zillow, and then, Zillow has the opportunity to say, hey, I want to schedule a tour. And then reach out to realtors that are, have signed up through Zillow. I'm sure they might have a similar compensation structure. Maybe you pay Zillow to, be one of those realtors. But yeah, I'd be very curious to find out where this platform gets their leads. They probably have partnerships with other, Redfin, Zillow type websites.
Yeah, probably. On a tangent from Zillow, one of my like side things that I'm going to try to get into now is getting for sale by owners to essentially like list with me. Since it is a listing market, I've decided to try to get in there. But yeah, I guess my main point on Zillow, why I thought of it. On Zillow, for sale by owners, listings automatically go below all of the agent listed properties. So, they get not nearly as much reach as they would with an agent. So that's kind of like the main point to try and sell them, I guess. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just that, but that's kind of like something you probably wouldn't realize unless you just knew, but yeah, that's what I'm going to be getting into. I'm starting to learn the specific ways of making these calls and such, because basically I'll find the leads on Zillow in the first place.
So you'll go search by for sale by owner and then ask them. There'll
be a whole process. I'm learning it, but sorry, here we go.
No, you're good. I was going to talk about that. I'm sure you'll have to work through so like you said, the agent listed listings come up above for sale by owner, right? But a lot of people might search for sale by owner, hoping for a better deal and a better maybe, negotiating process. So you'll have to work through. That's kind of maybe a reason that they'll say, no, I don't want to, because people are going to search for sale by owner, and that's how I'm going to sell it. And they're not worried about going through an agent that way. But you'll have to craft some good rebuttal to that.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Well, I was going to say was what you're doing with the YouTube and how you've progressed with your video editing skills. I think that's definitely a huge value add. Putting more eyes on it. Like they can still do for sale by owner, like how Brendan was saying. But if you add like, hey, like, I'm not going to charge you, whatever percent, like typically, but we can sort of work together in the partnership of, you pay a fee, I'll list it, you get enough eyes. Like as you grow your YouTube channel, it sort of becomes like a service, it's like a one-time fee. Like I'll list it, I'll make a video, and then that's how it is. Just food for thought.
You can say, I'm not going to list it, and say, let me make a video. Let me make a video about it, and maybe you ask for payment, maybe you don't. You just try to grow it that way, and say, if someone buys it and they say from my YouTube video, tip me. Like, don't even put a number to it. Just say, give me a tip.
Yeah, that'd be great to be. I should have thought about that. I was only thinking of, post a video, hopefully someone, or, as a goal, post a video, get at least one buyer or one client from that. But if I was also that, or, if someone's that big, and you could definitely use that as kind of like a selling point for being their agent as well. You're like, I'm going to drop this video and it'll probably get sold like within a week after I post it, or less, but that's another huge plus to social media right there.
I did want to touch a little bit on because I remember you said 1.5 thousand views. Have you looked at the data for your YouTube a little bit and sort of looked at the demographics, or not really?
On YouTube, I did, and I think hardly anyone of my viewers were actually like in the United States even. I mean, a good amount of them were, but that's kind of why I pivoted to focusing on Instagram. I still post on YouTube and such, but YouTube is much more like, I want to say broad. I mean, Instagram is also very broad, but from, I think it might have been 1% or less were in my same area on YouTube. And on Instagram, 7.9% are literally in San Jose, and even more are near San Jose. That's just 7.9% are in the city of San Jose, which is just way better in terms of, percentage of people I could actually do business with. So I swapped to that. YouTube views as well. The shorts are very, long form YouTube is very evergreen. You can watch a video, or long form videos, have value for a lot longer than the shorts do on YouTube. But the Instagram shorts or reels, not as evergreen as the long form YouTube, but much more evergreen than the YouTube shorts. Like YouTube shorts, are lost after like an hour or two. I mean, you can still get more views after that time, but there's like a huge spike after an hour, or it just never spikes, and then it just gets nothing. Whereas, with Instagram, people can see your stuff for, I want to say on average, it's probably like a day, 2 days that it consistently goes up in views. After that, it's just, new followers that are actually super interested, and they just like scroll through your stuff. But yeah, I also heard that apparently it takes sometimes like 2 weeks for a video, or a video can still go viral after like 2 weeks on Instagram, which I don't really know how, but apparently that's a thing.
The algorithm works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, it does. Are you guys on Instagram?
I think that's actually one of the places we're not, which we need to be on, but we're on Twitter and YouTube and TikTok. Are we? Okay.
We're on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
Jesse's been posting to it. We have so Kayvon made it, and it has he made it so it's like artistic. So it's like each post is broken in like 6 different posts.
Okay.
And so it's like, it looks nice. And then Jesse's been posting videos, I think, like reels every week, I think. He's been posting it on all the platforms. But what was I about to say? I was about to say, what do you, for now touching on like video editing, what have you found to be the most helpful in improving your skills video editing wise?
Taking my time. I would say that's absolutely the biggest one, like not rushing anything. And I'm very much so a perfectionist, so I'll look at something so many times, and it was perfect at first, and then I look at it enough for it to like not be perfect anymore. But yeah, I'd say just taking your time, redoing things, and figuring it out. Like I think I've changed like a specific sound one time, like at least like 10 times before I found like the right sound where I like felt it fits the best, trying to do that less, since I think I'm starting to get a hang of it, but I'm still in that like what's the word,
discovery phase.
Yeah, discovery phase, mixing things up, seeing what works, doesn't work. I do want to hone in on like more of a like my niche, but I haven't really quite found it. But oh man, I just got my phone says 5%.
Yeah, no worries at all. We're getting close to our hour. Is there anything you want to leave us off with? Anything you want to talk about? Questions, comments, anything?
Well, I'd say I'll just go over I guess my goal, because that's just kind of what I think about all the time. My big goal is to grow Instagram to a point where I can grow my business like exponentially, because I truly believe that it has the power to do that. This whole like not debacle, all this like stuff going on with TikTok, all the controversy over it and stuff, like I don't know how long that's going to last, or if TikTok is going to go away or stay. I feel like it'll stay. Like it's too huge of a platform. But I guess I don't know, I kind of gave up on TikTok just because I feel like most of the audience there is just like pure entertainment, you know. It's like very much so not business oriented, whereas Instagram is. I guess where I'm going with that is that Instagram has obviously lost a lot of people to TikTok.
Yeah.
But I feel like the people who maybe want to see more than just like funny stuff are still on Instagram. You know,
Interesting.
obviously there is funny stuff still, but
Yeah.
it's a lot more. I want to say business oriented, like closer to like where YouTube is. Like it's not quite YouTube, obviously. YouTube is a whole nother level of just um, like business oriented stuff. But I feel like it's a lot closer than TikTok, that's for sure.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many niches inside TikTok. Like there's
Mhm.
definitely real estate TikTok, there's food talk, I think there is kind of business talk. It's probably not that big. I've come across
Mhm.
several business talk, videos, and they have maybe 500, 1,000, 1,500 likes, not millions,
Mhm.
of course. But it's all about finding that. It's definitely hard. And I think you're right. YouTube definitely has the biggest business / educational market share
Yeah.
for content. Yeah. Craziness.
How
Very
long ago
nice.
did you get into the Airbnb stuff? Like how long have you been doing that for?
About a year. Yeah,
Okay.
so like July of last year, I think is when I started the first one. So in about a year, went from 1 to 3 units, and those 3 units have 4 listings, and I have a 5th in my own house. So,
Sweet.
yeah, no, it's been a great ride.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Congrats
Yeah,
for all
no,
that, by the way.
thank you, appreciate it. And I think in a more touristy destination, it would do really, really well as well.
Mhm.
It's a lot more turnover. Well, it's a lot more hands-on management because you got to go turn it more, or you have to
Yeah.
pay more for cleaning costs, which I think is okay. And I'll give kind of an anecdotal story. So when I went to San Francisco for a music festival, we rented this house. Right, it was like $3,000 for a weekend, like something like that, something crazy, right? And say the rent on it's 5,000. Like if you're making 3,000 in a weekend, like those markets might be very lucrative. So
Yeah, that'd be really nice. A lot of work, but
yeah,
that would be nice.
100%, 100%. You want to sign us off with a one of your come watch my YouTube channel spiels?
Yeah. I guess what I definitely would want to promote the most is my Instagram, which is @_Doug Smart. And it's actually the same for all of my accounts, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. But Instagram is definitely the most important one, so check that one out. Yeah, I mostly do house tours and such on that. And I'm looking to expand my content, but I'm focusing on that, seeing where it goes. And that's that. Doug Smart.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Doug. And thank you to everyone listening to the Decentralized podcast. We hope to see you again very soon.
Thank you. Good being here.
Awesome.